one of the important things is I really feel proud to have eminent panelists for AI session. Data is being processed now. We are about to write algorithms to discuss on the AI. Ravi Garu, I think I will start with his eminence presence. He's director for incubations. I think he's from Wipro before. So I quickly request him to very briefly introduce about himself and some of the accomplishments from his side.
Yeah, this is Ravi Sarpalli. I'm the Director, Center for Innovation and Incubation, Gayatri Vidya Parishad, College of Engineering, Visakhapatnam. Last 11 years, I've been running a small movement called Inspire to Innovate Storytelling Movement. Idea is to inspire every individual through storytelling. So prior to that, for almost 14 years, I was with Wipro, working in various accounts and managing Microsoft. That was the last stint. And after that, I'm into this kind of stint and going forward for the panel discussion. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Shankar, sir, can you please briefly introduce about yourself, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shankar. I'm the VP for Engineering at Amzur Technologies, primarily focusing on the cloud and IoT areas. I have, prior to Amzur, I was with Wipro for almost like 7 years, primarily working on product engineering teams. So at Amzur, we work on several IT services, plus we also develop our own products across multiple industry verticals. So my core focus is on the cloud and IoT, which is primarily focused on the energy optimization at the industries, smart cities, and now we are developing an EV charging solution, which is a very nascent market, especially in India and the US. We are primarily focused on this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I mean, we have heard much from Madhu in the previous session. So, Madhu Garu, to a line.
All I can say is that I'm mad of analytics.
Very
That's
nice.
all.
So, okay. So, how we can see how we can use? I mean, how we can bring him into AI? Let's see. I think the first and fundamental question I wish to start is, what is AI? I mean, I had graduated in 2002 from Geetham. I studied AI. I think 10 years before my graduation, people might have studied AI in their computer science engineering. Why so much of buzz now on AI suddenly when we studied in AI, all these regressions, all these maths in the engineering itself in 2000, 2001, 2002, why suddenly this buzz? Maybe one of the panelists would like to, Ravi Garu.
So, yeah. So when we were studying, predominantly the parents' question or our choice was whether you want to be a doctor or engineer or a management professional. These were the three kind of criteria, right? So today, an average doctor's job is already taken up by the AI. Let me share a couple of examples so that you understand the context and the answer would be there in the this itself. So today, an average surgeon's job is already taken up by AI in the form of Hughes RAG Systems. It's a AI-based company which is performing a general surgery, robotic surgery, more efficiently than an average surgeon. Obviously, the average guy's job is gone away. Today, an average oncologist job is already taken up by a company called Kakinada. It's again based out of Vizag. I think both founders are from Vizag. Unfortunately, the company is based out of Bangalore, but the both founders, Rajshekhar and Venkatraman, who are the kind of founders, they are doing this oncology-based platform. They developed already, and they are detecting early cases of the cancer and so on, and they are doing very efficiently. So average oncologist job is already gone away. For that, AI is actually helping because today, last year, the number of cases, the cancer cases were around 20 lakhs officially in India. Unofficially, it was around 80 lakhs. Today, we have only 3,000 oncology specialists in India, across India I'm talking about, and 834 surgeons, oncology surgeons. If AI is not there, probably those people would have died. right? So that way, I think this is kind of replacing because it's understanding the genomic understanding of the entire. This one is better than a regular doctor. You look at any other Google retinal ophthalmologist, right? I think they have given a small kit, and you wear that, everything would be assessed around your eye, and it would tell you whether your eye is perfect or not. That job is already, ophthalmologist job is already gone away. And average, there is a medical tricorder. I think there is a company, I don't remember the exact company. So you just put it in your mouth, 13 diseases would be, 13 flu diseases would be actually kind of recorded, and the average general physician's job is already gone. So average doctor's job is gone. Now you might say that, no, still engineer's job is there, I can go with that. So you see Copilot, right? I think GitHub Copilot or any other coders, and I think OpenAI as well, the ChatGPT as well. The average coder's job is already taken up because they are doing better job there. So you see recently, I think there was a test conducted in Copilot. 95 developers were given a Copilot in one stream, another 95 without Copilot. These people have actually completed task within 161 minutes without Copilot, and 70 minutes or something this one. So almost 56% benefit is already given, right? So manual testers we used to have, today Selenium has already taken up. So you look at in the order of entire software engineering lifecycle, every job is already taken up by, half of the job is already taken by the automation. You look at management philosophy. As a company, what is the HR's role is do a very casual intervention and do an interview and complete the basic interview part. I think myself and my friend started a company called Intelligence Technology Labs way back 3 years back. And our thought was it's a AI powered, not that kind of a real AI. So AI powered, metaverse based total interview automation. Well, that was a concept. So it would be interacting with you as we are talking. You ask certain question, I would be answering, and it would validate. Again, it would ask. This is the kind of thing. But in the back end, we have actually kind of answered so many answers. Last 1 year, 1.5 years, we kept almost like for Python interview, we kept around 200, 300 answers for each question, right? The other person was asking the question, right? What is ChatGPT? Recently, one of our competitors have actually plugged our case with ChatGPT. Now you ask the question, he is transferring this question to ChatGPT and it is bringing some answer. Your answer is already there. They both are validated and they are telling whether you are right or wrong. Right. The metaverse is doing that. So that way AI is actually much powerful than this. 3 years of our effort, 3 years of our investment completely wiped out.
Why we have AI before? My question is why we have
because
AI
the
before?
productivity, office productivity is the first place. I think when we were having a document writers, old back, I think 80s, right, in the registration office, one who writes the good English, a good Telugu, they used to have the job. But later typewriters came and the computers came, and finally I think today it's all about productivity, right?
Sir, Shankar sir, would you like to add?
Yeah. So as you said, like the AI, ML, all these are there from decades, right? Like, so as you said, maybe 2000s or even 90s, right? Like, so why it's buzzed out, right? So let's see what is the fundamental blocks for AI to work, right? It's all data. The number one is data, the availability of quality data, right? The number two is compute power, right? So to analyze the data, you require compute power, right? So now if you see, number one, cloud made compute power, it commutizes the compute power. Now it is easily available to churn like any number of algorithms that you want and everything, right? That's the primary driver for AI to come into picture, right? Then next, the data, right? Like, so availability of data, right? Like a decade back, like as someone was saying, right? Most of us with paperwork, right? So most of the process is on paper, right? There is no data that is collected. Now, if we see most of the industries are using some sort of computers to enter the data, so the data is coming in. Not only that, now the data is interlinked, right? Like, so how ChatGPT is working, right? Because it is able to collect data not from one single source, but across all the sources in the world, right? It is crowdsourcing, right? Yeah. The more data that you give, the more intelligent that AI will become and the more accurate that the output would be. So that's how now you are seeing the real utilization of the AI.
Right, sir. So one way, if we analyze, we have more data availability now. A huge amount of data is getting created, and we are able to store this data, and we have processing power now. We can expand the cloud, we can contract the cloud. So now AI got the real power. Now AI is learning through machine learning. It is understanding the data, and then it was able to take decisions. Now, what is AGI, artificial general intelligence?
See, like it's like imagine like you are a kid, right?
Right.
So when you start learning, right, like what's the basics? Like you understand maybe like what is around you, what is text, like what maybe alphabets and everything, right? So then becomes a stage where you start reasoning, right? Like so you got the data, but you need to start reasoning, right?
And
From the reasoning, you will get into problem solving, right? So now you will get to an intelligent stage like, okay, with this data, whatever I learned by applying reason, I can give some solutions to the problem out there. That's where we are getting into.
then, so AGI is AI learning on its own.
Yeah. So it learned. Now it is. So see, it's like for a computer to as a human, right? Like so as a child, if you show like this is a dog, right? Like you show once this is a dog, right?
Right.
So there are different kinds of dogs, right? So it's easy for us. Okay, if I see a different kind of dog, I still understand that is a dog. But for a computer, it is not like that. You have to show it like maybe all 100 kinds of dogs. Then only it will understand like that is a dog when you show it a different time, right?
Right.
But now, if you apply intelligence, right? There is if you show them 100 dogs, now 101 dog game. It's now it can apply that intelligence and understand that is also a dog.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
So that's the intelligence.
It can now make those decisions.
Yeah.
Then why are we all worrying about this concept called point of singularity? Maybe Madhu, would you like to add a point?
I don't have much points on this, to be frank, but I would actually say that when you train a system, right, it's going on an environment only on a single direction, and we believe it, and that's where the real problem comes in. Singularity is all about you believe oneself.
Right.
We trust the systems. The only problem is that we trust the system. The recommendation is the engine is the only one which you actually trust it.
Right.
And that's where the real problem comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ravi sir, so you have mentioned about the jobs, and you also stressed that some of the jobs have gone. While we have this worry about jobs on AI, that some of the jobs can be lost, can we also see this as an opportunity? Can you please shed some light on that area, and any examples that you can quote maybe?
Yeah. So as I told, the productivity is definitely 50% higher in the current context itself. So that's an opportunity to get into the next stage. I'll tell you my personal example so that you understand the context. 1 year back, when we were writing a journal paper publication, the first step in the paper publication is to do a literature survey. We used to take 1 month to collect data from various sources within the internet sources. Half of the data would not be available or not accessible. That is the point number one. In earlier days, before my generation, people used to go to Andhra University or some other library and pick up a book and store that data in some place, again physically write that paper, again duplicate it, color, so all that coding and all that they used to do.
True.
We used to take 1 month, and today, recently we published a paper in 3 days. The systematic literature survey is the one which we have to do. I gave only a problem statement to my chat GPT, and it has given me certain literature points. I just need to validate. Of course, there is a correction point as well. 15 to 20% are factual, but somewhere some linkage would be there. So I just need to correct and did that literature survey part. Then I need to write a small introduction or some kind of summary for that. Again, I use the same tool. Again, went with and got it. Finally, I have to do only experimentation part. Earlier, my experimentation was only 30% of the time. Today, my experimentation time is 90%. Means I would actually go for more research. I would go for actual results than cooking up this one. And another problem is I used to worry, see, lot of people used to worry for grammatical English, or I could not write a paper, because that kind of articulation skills won't be there for everyone, right? That is another skill. For a journal publication, you need to have an articulation skill. That part is taken over by someone, but that is not actual problem. That is actually some other problem created by the publication process. Now I can only do an experimentation. Rest of the stuff would be taken up by the AI part, and I can actually go for further research. Now the question is about the prompt engineering. Right. See, you would actually go more and more deeper into the prompt engineering. The world will be divided into 3 segments. Number one, the extreme good, extreme high-end engineers would actually take care of the algorithm part. Yeah. The average people in next 5 years. The extreme guys, anyway, they would actually go to the level of engineering where I want to have a material of this nature. This could be actually one prompt also, because somebody else has already developed that 3D printing and all that, it would take care of it. I want to have a prototype with this kind of conditions using this feasibility technique. So it would actually give. So now the prompt engineer's role is to more of a intuitive in mind, and he collects what he needs and make sure that things would actually happen. And his productivity time would be used for something else. So that is where the new set of opportunities can come in. The old rudimentary kind of stuff would be taken up by the AI part, and the new opportunity, because we would not be sitting idle, right? We would do something or other. So mankind would actually kind of survive, right? So they would go on with their own nature. That's the kind of thought.
True, sir. Sir, one way can we, I think based on what you also said, I see that AI is an enabler, which means it will improve your productivity. One way, today we have this articulation capability, which means it is converting specialization into generalization. Yes. I mean, somebody is super specialized. Yes. If you can actually map a machine learning algorithm for it, then actually it is generalized, so many people can consume.
Yeah, generalists can actually talk to super
specialized.
That is the kind of connection happened.
Yeah.
Earlier it was not.
No, this is reinforcement. Again, reinforcement in this, sir. So one case is, I mean, there is a question on approaching a lawyer for an issue. You know, tomorrow you will have a chat box or a chatbot or a kiosk. Yeah. And we have some chartered accountants here, so also you need not go to a chartered accountant and say, I have this much of money, I have this much of thing, what is the best income tax return I should pay? And then the chat GPT will, another GPT or another tool will come tomorrow and it will replace. So I see one way it is an enabler, this thing, sir. Sir, now regarding ethics on AI, I mean, Mr. Ramkrishna Raju also mentioned today morning about ethics. I think once you feed wrong data to your AI algorithm, you can say about in another state, for example, you can feed the algorithm with wrong information about another state, another country, another competitor, and then the algorithm starts taking this into in a different approach. Yeah. What is your use on particularly ethics to be followed on AI, and what sort of structure to be approached? Sir.
So see, it's not just about AI, right? See, at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? So it's the people that start using it, right? Like, so it's the developers, it's the community that is using it. See, today GPT, whatever we are talking about, any AI tool for that sense is at a very nascent stage, right? So if you go back, like we've seen Twitters, Facebooks, and all that, right? Like, so when they all started, we all used to enjoy, right? Now, why are we hating Twitters? Like, why is this whole debate about, like, is Twitter doing ethical? Like, why is being Zuckerberg and everything been questioned about it, right? So it's okay. It's not just they doing something wrong, right? It's also the people who are using those tools. Like, they're also using it in a wrong way, right? So ultimately, it's about like the society, right? Whether they use it for the right purpose or the wrong purpose. Like, there is nothing like ethical, unethical. No one can control it. No, n number of debates. We always end up with that situation. See, the only correct way is like maybe if governments and agencies can take proactive steps to bring in certain laws that control it, keep it under a control, then only it will work.
In fact, just to add to that, in the last 1 year, there were around 22 cases filed, right? Let me share a couple of examples so that you understand the context. Intel was working on during pandemic time, Intel started working on this AI built with Zoom, because a lot of students were using Zoom. They were trying to analyze the emotional quotient of students while they were before this Zoom, right? So now there are two parts of it. For a teacher, it is a tool. You are listening to me, or are you careless? Are you kind of okay, or active, or something? But look at from a child's perspective. He has to be very completely decharacterized, right? I think they have to be very laughing, and he has to be very active and all that, the facial expressions and all that, which is unethical from a child's perspective. From a teacher's perspective, it is actually ethical because he is trying to extract something. Now, there is a big debate happening in the legislation whether we should allow such thing or not. This is number one. Recently, again, in the text-to-image conversion, they asked this question: can we have a influential CEOs? Immediately, the images, I think even if you type, I think it has actually reported in a ethical report of AI. Immediately, 4 images came in. Out of 4, 3 of them are sitting very authoritatively like this. And they are all men. Means women are not influential CEOs? No. There could be multiple debates for that, right? This is one problem. The second problem is they ask for a influential people. Again, many of the characters, the images which are brought in from the AI is all wearing glasses, and 2 of them are identical to Einstein. Is also something wrong? The third element, the conversational AI, I think we are talking about. Out of 100 conversational AIs, 56 are acting, the conversation happening as if they are female. Means always the front office desk should be from a female. See the kind of questions coming up, right? So the another robo recently, I have noted down that exact chat so that I can read out. So this robo says, somebody said, sounds exciting. I'm a computer science programmer. I'm earning $2,000 per year. Immediately robo said, would you like to marry one of my 4 attractive daughters? I will sell one of you. I will sell one of them. Means the AI still thinks sell is the suitable for something I would like to offer. See the kind of difference. This language, this is obviously offensive language, right? So these all things are coming up. Now the question you said, no, AI, learning AI is what I think is solution. Even in earlier case, in books also, right? If Guha says something about our history, we all just follow that book and will somehow, anyway bias is there. If whether somebody is assassinated or not, nobody, not sure. History is already cooked up. We are listening and going on, right? At least AI, somebody will immediately correct. The prompt engineer's job is more than regular people now. So if somebody says, no, it is incorrect, immediately AI learns that, and next time it would not make that mistakes. Of course, legislations are happening. Recently, I think out of 127 countries, just for your information, there are around bill containing AI. In 2016, only one bill was there in one country. As of 2022, 37 countries started representing bills, legislative bills. This is good news. So slowly things would happen, and then correction would take place.
Wonderful, sir. Madhu, can you share some of the AI applications or something that you think, wow, or some things in your own experience?
First of all, the image classification, the one thing which you are mainly using for threatening purposes, because when I've been to NISA, National Investigation Security Academy, the main problem is that how do I identify a gas pipe leakage which is flowing from the top of the hill? Now, this is not just an IoT connected AI based system. That's one of the beautiful solutions, because we are using the same gas today. One best solution. One second solution is that you don't need a paper to know how the rating is. You just need the facial expression. So calculate 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and 60 minutes. The rating is done. A simple calculation, but that needs a great practice.
Which means by seeing the faces of the audience or what?
Yeah, there is an application. By seeing the faces of the audience, calculating it. But having said that, there are two things again. Will I permit the AI to each and every segment of it? The control of AI is also more important. For example, if you are invited to your house, right? I can go to your dining room, maybe your bedroom, but not to everyone's room. That might not be unethical, but your parents will feel bad. There is no wrong in it, but it's unethical.
Would you like to add some more?
I mean, like in general, or like
Either in general or with your own experience as well.
I mean, like, see, within what domain we are doing, like we are using again like IoT plus AI, like so what Effectronics is doing, like specifically on the railways, like we are concentrating, especially in India, on the industrial sector, where we analyze the energy consumption patterns and water consumption patterns of the industries and help them to optimize it, predict the forecast utilization patterns and all. And specifically in the US, like you all know that EVs are now the buzzword, right? Like, so EVs are bringing their own challenge into the grid, because like to charge an EV, you require enormous amount of energy, right? So imagine like if Kakinada next couple of years, if there are, even if 100 EVs are added to the city, right? So if they start charging at a time, right? Like, so then they're suddenly adding almost like 10 to 20 megawatts of capacity onto the grid, right? So how the grid can handle it, and so to analyze that demand patterns, to optimize the charging cycles and others. So apart from that, like let's see how AI is enhancing the society as an overall, right? Like, so I think like all of you know, like at least on the cars, right? Like, so ADAS, connected cars, all that is becoming a norm now, right? True. So as a driver now, so it is enhancing your driving skills, right? Like, so it is augmenting your driving skills, right? So we are talking about smart farming, right? Like we are using AI, IoT in the agriculture sector. It is enhancing the crop productivity. It is forecasting the weather patterns. It is identifying the pests and all those things. So the recommendation engines and everything. So it is enhancing the farming community as a whole, right? Like, so there are again, if you go talk on, there are enormous use cases actually.
Sir, anything that you felt wow for some of the AI example? I mean, AI as AI application that you have come up with.
There is a company called Anki.
Okay.
So they have developed a human recognized toys for the children.
Okay.
So they see the child's face and see the kind of moment and understand the emotion and they play game. So something like a very contextual and understanding of the emotion plus playing game is something going to be futuristic. At least I could sense that. And there are some other, in fact, one of my students' company, so again, Shamin. So we are developing it. There are multiple things in that. So it's incubated in our college itself. So there is an edge computing. There is an AI part, which because it's a driver drowsiness would be actually detected. And we are also detecting the nearby portals and also connecting to the nearby hospital and this one. So complete end-to-end integrated version. So initially we could not able to convince Tata Motors, any of these companies, because they said we cannot intervene into the main engine part. True. So you can keep it as a camera. So since they have given this kind of things, we created a camera and all that. But now, over a period of time, we could able to make a miniature version of edge computing. That's a kind of application we could able to do, and we are trying to patent on that part and selling that to many AI companies, so that the decision making happens. I think somebody was talking about explainable AI, right? That should happen runtime at that point of time. So that application should, those applications should actually become more prevalent in the market.
Very nice, sir. Sir, how much time we have? Sir? Yeah.
So if we have, then I can show the predictions. So because why I'm talking about tsunami, I just want to.
I think file number 4 or 5. Please check. Okay. I think since you have mentioned about one of a nice toy, sir, we can also discuss about robotics.
Yeah.
Jeevankant, are you there? There is one professor from a ideal degree college. He has he's actually done a wonderful model of a small robot which can actually give shake hand and then recognize people and then it can interact.
First of all, give a big hand, please. I think it's a very bold step. Excellent.
Mohan. Okay, both of them are CSC faculty, degree college, but they're very energetically making a lot of programs with their college students, particularly on AI, IoT, and robotics.
Excellent.
Okay,
Very
I
nice.
just want to show some light on that.
That's really good, actually.
yeah.
Good to hear this.
Yeah, I think we have heroes like this in different places, not just Kakinada. I think the whole goal of ITAP's endeavor is to identify these heroes in different places and try to put some light. Thank you very much. About sir.
So, no, go ahead.
No, about this robotics. I mean, if you take like Melissa, I mean, it can Chat GPT and robotics. Now I'm also seeing mechanically very. I mean, like the way robots actually do operations. I envision that maybe in less than two to 3 years. I don't know why, but based on the data I see, I envision in less than 2 to 3 years, we will have pet robots in our house to do household work like chopping onions, going here and there. I don't know. Any.
It's already there.
Yeah.
See,
So.
the cleaner.
No, sir. I mean, the mobile may be there in USA. Maybe at that time it's not there in India. You see, wild adoption in India. Technology adoption is very high. I'm somehow sensing, or I feel, intuitively I feel, within 2 to 3 years, domestic robots will come. What is your say on that?
No, we already have it in our home. That,
Very nice, sir.
so-
Sir, I want to
I
visit.
think the vacuum cleaner, Eureka Fox vacuum cleaner is a robo.
Sir,
right? It is learning every day. It is learning. So I generally keep obstacle.
Right.
The next day it won't go that particular place. It is learning. The AI learning on AI is something like that. Suppose we keep one software at one place. Right. Next day if I change it, it will not go there because yesterday it was there. Now, then it will hit and go sometime and again come back. Next day it would go. So that learning is happening. That evolution is taking place. We are already
Nice.
there.
I wish I should have a robot so that the thing is that I want to live for 100 years. I mean, the
Okay.
thing is.
I mean, you want to transfer your cognition into that
as
device?
such. See, the thing is that technically speaking, I have no right to live after 50 because of my food habits. Because of my, say, sleepless nights, etc., etc. I need some robot which can control me ethically, not into my private areas.
No, you haven't married yet?
Yes. If I'm looking too young, then yes.
No, I'm experienced, so I'm just trying to say.
Sir, I'm experiencing since Pushkar time.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, so the point is, especially on this front, as Madhu also mentioned, I mean, you have a cognition. I mean, you feel what is real is what you sense and what you perceive. Your family, your friends, your people, your society. Can we transform the cognitive abilities, or it's like my own world, my brother, my wife, my son, my office staff, into a machine that it actually continues after the death of an individual? It's a very sci-fi, but what is your say on that, sir?
I think there are experiments happening at a very early stage, I think, right? Especially Elon Musk is very famous for these kind of
this
things.
neural,
Right. So I think they made some breakthrough, but again, they're very cautious about these kind of things because it might, when ethics and all this comes into picture, this is much more scary thing. Right?
There was a movie named Super, right?
Sir, companion bots, Android or some other, a movie was there where there was a robot that they fell in love with the robot for its patience. Sir? Okay, so
There was a Telugu movie, Super, I think, Brahmanandam, and conversation happens, right? So it actually kind of reads the mind and all that. However, there was a company named Brain.ai something. It's a UK-based company. They were doing this experiment, and to some extent, they were successful. Recently, that company was asked to close or stop that research because if I see you, I can understand whether you are actually thinking good about me or bad about me. So that is the research going on. So
Sir,
maybe I think some extent.
Yes, sir. I think in
we need to be strong.
Nimans Bangalore is doing some of these things also on meditation, and then some of kriyas that some institutions do. I mean, how these kriyas actually impact and what is the brain waves,
Yeah,
alpha, beta, theta waves, and how things go and things like that, sir.
To be frank, to the some extent, it's always good. But to what extent the research should be controlled is also a point, sir. So that's where we're.
Sir, when I talk about ethics, I mean, we discussed that it's difficult to control. I think it is always the control will come in a sense that necessity is the mother of invention. So I think I think, sir, you have your presentation.
Yeah. So I think I'm unable
It is
to
a-
see this side. So maybe I'll just go there. So I'll just make only 4 or 5 slides. The idea is to show how the tsunami is going to come in and what is that we need to do as a team and how we can actually kind of survive in this kind of a world. So the tsunami's forces are the 6 type of forces, right? I think in terms of research, in terms of technology performance, right? In terms of, so I think better I go this. Yeah, so the third is economic times, economically how they are kind of going on, educational trends in terms of AI, and ethics and policy making. So just touch upon the research side, the number of publications you see in the last 10 years, they just doubled. So recently I think they concluded that 5.5 lakhs publications are on AI as of today. That is something which is kind of showing that how big the research is going on. So in terms of LLM models, machine learning models, till 2014, only academia was actually working on. But recently, of late, I think by 2022, industry has produced 22, whereas academia only 3. That shows that it actually gone into the space of industry side. In terms of LLMs, the large model, I think in 2019 is 1.5 billion parameters, whereas the recent Google one actually is 550 billion parameters, which shows that almost 360 times bigger. So that shows that how big the research is going on. China has first time released bilingual. This means that something from India also has to come in Hindi or Telugu, or I think that is a time I think it goes to the next level of ChatGPT and so on. In terms of LLMs, US contributes 54%, and India is also in the line. That is a good news for us, right? In terms of AI projects in GitHub, especially in the developer community, right? 2011, there were only 1536 projects, whereas in 2022, it has gone up to 3.4 lakhs projects. That is a good news, and highest number is India. Give a big hand to all of us. So the next parameter is tech performance. So this is also coming in a big way. Like what we just now discussed, right? AI starts building their own AI. I think Sir has to see the chip design is actually getting done by AI itself. So in the NVIDIA chip design and so on, that is one thing. So DeepMind also has influenced the nuclear fusion tank. I think that is something is an extraordinary thing. So that's where also we are entering in. The again Open AI's the largest speech recognition system is actually 7 lakh hours of audio training is already done. ChatGPT is again 100 million active users. Image classification is gone up to the level of 27% better than 10 years ago. Face detection is almost 100%, and other accuracy scores are really good. I will not go deep into that. DeepMind's Alpha Code recently participated in one hackathon, and all developers are there, and this DeepMind code, Alpha Code is also there. It moved to the top 50%, means it is almost behaving like a human being who is the best competitive coding understanding. Of course, Copilot, we already discussed. This is what we discussed. And image generation, visual reasoning, English language. I'm not talking about applications. I'm only talking about underneath activities, so that these are the ones which actually becomes an application. Again, text summarization, we already discussed. Sentiment analysis, machine translation, GPU performance, speech recognition, all that. Ethics, we already discussed. Economy side, the number of startups, you see that India is also standing here. In 2013, only newly funded, since 2013, I think newly funded, India is around 296 is almost like a 7th or 8th position now. Industrial robot, we just discussed, more than 35 lakh industrial robots are installed, and it is actually kind of China is contributing 20% to that. So AI capability is going to the various segments, and by since 2022, 50% of companies already adopted one function into the AI. Education side, the number of PhDs earlier more on academic side. Recently, I think of late 2021 onwards, industry is picking up 65% of educationalists, academia only 28%. That shows that many people are moving to industry side. From a CS faculty side in US, already increased 39%. And again, somebody asked computer science adoption in the early stage, K-12 adoption, 9 times increased from 2007 onwards. Legislative records we already discussed, right? And AI-related issues, of course, 7 in 2016, and also there are so many filings, case filings are happening. Of course, those are all things to be corrected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. That's very insightful. So, with that, we wish to conclude this panel discussion. If there is any question and answers for one or two, we will take, if there is any. Sir, can you please pass the mic?
Sir, ChatGPT or other kind of tools, if we ask any question, they are giving answers or information. And second thing, if we ask solution for any problem, it is giving solution. And what about our thinking ability and our problem solving capability and our reasoning, or future generation students' reasoning? What happens, sir?
See, again, I don't know. I think one of hello, yeah, ChatGPT giving answers is nothing new. It's an enhancements to your Google, right? Like Google also used to give your answer. It only went one step ahead, right? Google used to give you sources for your answers, right? Like so maybe 4 or 5 sources. It's up to you to analyze those sources and figure out what it is, right? So ChatGPT went one step ahead. It is analyzing on your behalf, and then it is making some decision out of it, right? So it's now like your right question is like, how can students utilize it, right? So I think like the days are over where like even today, right? Like memory is given utmost important, right? Like as a person, right? The more memory you have, like you can remember something and put it out, like you've been the topper. That's how the entire education system has been, right? But that's all gone now, right? Memory is not important anymore, right? Because like everything is available at your fingertips. You can open your mobile and find out what it is, right? So it's about how you can find information, put the right questions into the whatever it is, Google or ChatGPT or whatever AI tool. I think Ramaraj was showing that there are hundreds of tools out there, right? Similar to ChatGPT. It's the approach that you take, right? How you write the question is important, right? So the only way you can improve on top of it to figure out what is the right question is only if you have the deeper understanding of the context of the problem that you're solving, right? So you need to understand the domain, whatever the area that you want to work, right? Become expert in the domain, pick up whatever like the problem that you're working. Then only you will be able to understand like what is the right question that I can ask the system. You'll get the right answer towards it, right?
Just to add, I think your question is about whether thinking will stop at a student level.
Right, sir. Why I'm asking is, I would like to explain just only 1 minute, sir. Before ChatGPT, if I would like to do any project on IoT and some kind of, first of all, I have to prepare some algorithm. In the mind, I have to prepare some algorithm and some flow chart and what are the different blocks I need and what are the different components I need, and later which language I have to use and what is the program, that kind I have to, I have thinking ability. So, but now how I am doing project is Just I am typing the title of the project. It is giving the block diagram. It is giving the circuit. It is giving the code also.
Actually,
But
see, that is when your role is to become a design thinker. Means human-centered approach to an experiential innovation. You are actually outsourcing the innovation part to ChatGPT now. Become a human-centered. You add that human-centeredness. I'll give you one example so that you understand what I'm talking. We have an MRI scanner, you know, right? MRI scanner purpose is to scan body. What is the current way of handling today? You sleep on that this one, the bed. It will go inside the tunnel. Lights would be off. The radiation specialist will go out, and it would make a lot of noise. But still, you patiently sit inside the tunnel because you have that medical problem, which is bigger than this emotional problem. So you would happily take up, and later report comes, and it will go on. Now you look at from a 5-year-old kid. She or he is on the sleeping bed. She will go inside. Parents would be outside. Radiologist would actually start doing something. Lot of noise would make, and it will be under tunnel as if you are in the burial ground. And already medical problem is there. So nobody has looked at design thinking angle to that particular thing till today, because people were only worried about how do we actually scan. You did not look at. Now there is a bigger opportunity for all design thinkers. Think from this perspective. Now the MRI scanning is coming up. Not yet come. Very soon it is going to come. They are actually making a underwater sky experience, or they are making a AR VR technology so that kids would feel that something I'm actually enjoying, not for going for a medical scanning. So that is the new thinking has come in. So now products would actually evolve towards a design thinking. Human psychology, I think, as Krishna Reddy was talking about, right? The emotional part should actually come in now. Till now, we are only worried about solution. Now you add that design thinking, human-centeredness to the solution, so that world becomes much more better place to live. That is the kind of a goal which should lead in. Obviously, I think people will also go there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Manita from Princeton IT Services. So this AI is going to be a threat for your human resources, like through panel discussion. So what is going to be the future of other domains apart from engineering? Because engineers can survive by upskilling themselves or the other ways. What is going to be the future of other domains, like doctors, for example?
See, am I able to, so are you able to hear? Yeah. So there is a confusion actually. See, first of all, there is no threat as such. As said, design thinkers, thought leaders will never fail. What is the capacity of your brain generally? 2.5 petabytes of memory if you Google it, which is bigger than the Hadoop system. So small, which means that our brain itself is a bigger Hadoop system. Now, the AI automation is done only for excellency. You're asking for ChatGPT or something for 100% excellency only. Whatever the customer reviews, everything. The world revolves with 3 points: generic, genuine, real, false facts. Don't ask any generic questions at all. I want to learn data science is not a question at all. Google gives thousands of answers. Imagine that you're a mechanical engineer and you want to learn data science. That's a genuine question. Now, to answer your question, there will be no threat for anyone. If AI is ready to kill our job, get it ready, because that's the time where you call it as an emotional intelligence, or your real power of a human actually comes into picture. I heard in a quote, sir, Einstein has used only 10% of brain. What if I used 11% of it? I trust me, if I have used 5% of it, then I would be in the other level, same as us. But why are you not using it? Because we are actually worrying it, then thinking about it. For me, we are not worried about 2023 at all. Don't worry about 2023, 2024. You should be thinking beyond 2025. That is the real forecast. Nothing will happen.
Threat is there for every field.
Yeah, threat is there for every field.
Design thinkers will have an opportunity in every field. So you need to become more human so that you will identify better solution than existing solution. That's
Thinkers,
where you need to enter it.
the history has no record that thinker has failed. Thinkers will be successful anywhere.
When typewriters came, right, I think all the original document writers felt they are kind of threat. Then computers came, all typewriters, I think they felt the threat. Then now with the kind of voice-over solutions coming, computer operators also feeling the threat. It is evolution. I think we need to go on and just act on to the field. That's
In fact, adding to one last point, it's not information technology, it's information transformation. Your mind should be like a river which is for a drinking purpose. Go to the sea level when you feel that I am retired. That's
Somewhere around 2000, I predicted what is going to be the computers for the future. By 2050 or 2060, there will not be necessity to do any work by anybody. Unless you are passionate to do something, you should do it. Only for the food purpose or the whatever our needs, you need not do it, because the robots will make all the things and distribute all the things to the people, whoever wants whatever the things. That is my prediction.
You'll be connected to Wi-Fi, so with the close of your eye, you know Google search, because that's exactly Elon Musk's work. I think that has created good buzz and interest among us. With that, we'd like to close this panel discussion.